Hello and welcome to another episode of Tribunal of the Grid, where we talk about all things Power Rangers, including the actors that play them. My name is Brandon.
My name is Lena.
And my name is Will.
And today we will be talking about episodes 16 and 17 of Power Rangers Dino Fury. But first, before we get started, I just want to remind everybody we are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, anywhere where you listen to podcasts, we are there. Okay? So first of all, if you have not, I just want to give everybody a quick little reminder. If you have not listened to the interview with Jason Font, it was a lovely interview. It was a fantastic interview. Mm-hmm. Please go and check that out. Go do that.
Please. It was an incredible interview. And honestly, that, for those of you who've been on this journey with us, that is also holy shit, we made it moment for us. Just to let y'all know. That was a cool moment that we were able to have with Jason Font on our show. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I am just so I'm still, even though technically this was 2 weeks ago, but still, it's still on cloud nine. So, don't thank you all for listening. Thank you all for, anyone who has sent messages or, whatever have you been oh my God, I loved it, whatever. Thank you.
Oh my God. Love the praise on there. Oh, amazing. I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed it because it's literally what we thrive to do. To give something that not literally everyone will have. And, in this fandom, there's so many repetitiveness. There really, truly is. And I'm glad that we are able to give you a little snippet of those, because obviously repetitiveness is what the fandom is all about, but able to give you guys a brand new set of eyes. Because even just talking to Jason, knowing learning new things that we didn't even know, but that we thought we knew it all.
Right.
We did not. There was some cool stuff that we did not know about him. So
cool. Not even just about him, but for me, it was so much of the show stuff. Because I just knew I'm a walking encyclopedia of Power Rangers, behind the scenes stuff. And, that whole thing about them having to rush because of the writer's strike and all that, I'm whoa, I had no idea that even happened. That just blew me away. So I'm just just talking to him and having that time, to pick his brain about certain things. It was just really cool. If you haven't, so if you haven't checked it out, please do that. But yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and get right into these 2 episodes because I'm pretty sure we all got some things to talk about. Now, first episode is episode 16, Wishful Thinking. After Hex Curio transforms her into human form Mucus, but I don't know how in the devil they wrote this.
Right.
Ooh, child, Netflix. After Hex Curio transforms her into human form, Mucus tricks Javi, Amelia, and Ollie into buying cursed wished charms.
Ooh.
Thoughts?
Oh, okay.
What do you think about this?
Okay, first of all, lovey-dovey Ollie needs to readjust himself. I just can't.
What do you mean?
I don't okay, you know what? I don't dislike the relationship.
I do.
Whatever. Honestly,
no, I said I do, but go ahead.
Okay. I don't dislike the relationship. I personally don't. It's whatever for me, honestly, because it was one of those situations where we knew it was coming from day one when they were in that stupid fortune telling, little thing. So it was I don't know. I have already accepted the fact that it was gonna happen. Regardless, we love it. So it is what it is at this point in life. But I don't know how to handle the whole lovey-dovey Ollie thing. Like I don't know. I genuinely find it interesting, like, but anyways, with that being said, I think the episode overall was interesting. I wish it was slightly different. I don't know. I don't know what it would have been, but like, I guess like every season of Power Rangers, there's always like some cursed thing where, something happens, and you know what though? Izzy turning into a T-Rex though was kind of awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
I did kind of like that.
I'm not gonna lie. That was kind of awesome. Like, and Javier with his like career, I don't like that. That's also very like Kira Ford moment too. So I don't know, like it, and even that music video was very similar to Kira Ford video, one of the Kira Ford videos, I should say. Like,
yes,
I don't know. It was. I just have like my thoughts all over the place right now because I'm trying to. I've seen the episode way before we're doing this recording, and as we're talking about all this, it's all coming back to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, there was that. Oh yeah, there was also that. I'm not gonna lie though, Mika's form is cute. It's cute. I like her. She can stay.
Is that actually her, like the voice?
That's what
yes.
I was wondering. Whoa,
yeah, it is.
That's actually really freaking cool. I was wondering the exact same thing. Overall, I could live without this episode. That's my thoughts.
It was one of those silly it was very silly. It was definitely a filler. But like there were fun moments in there, but I like how they have been a bit more story driven with this season. So and that's such a tease because they usually don't give us that. So like to give us that for a couple of episodes and then go into a filler silly thing like this is kind of I didn't hate it, but there were like I said, it's kind of like a tease to give us something that is following an arc, and then we just go into this. Ollie turning into the action figure was funny because I've seen the action figure a bit, like when they first released the Dino Fury toy line. So like to see them actually get use of it in the show is kind of funny.
I guess for me, well, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm actually 100% in agreement with you all. For especially you, Lena. This episode, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. But it wasn't that. It wasn't the normal Dino Fury where I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, God, y'all did that. Like, it wasn't that for me. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like, it didn't give me like, yes. So, but it wasn't a bad episode. It really wasn't. There are a lot of things for me that worked that I thought was really cool, really cute. And then there were some things that I was just like, it's not bad, but then again, it's also like, I could do without this. And it's namely, and I'm be 100% honest, and I hate to say this because I have been fighting for this the entire season. But this whole thing with Javi in this episode, I could have done without.
Yeah.
Like his story, I was like, it was supposed to be the main, like the A plot of the episode, and it did nothing for me. Like nothing.
Question. So you remember I guess 2 episodes ago we talked about what was it, like 14 and 15, I believe. And I had mentioned, yeah. We were on RavCon as the A plot, but then the B plot was this competition at Buzz Blast, and I personally felt like it just didn't belong. Did you feel like it maybe Javi's story would have worked in a different episode with a different plot?
Yes. I honestly, and as sad as and I don't want to, I hate to say it like this. I hate to say it like this, but this is just how it feels. His storyline didn't feel strong enough. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I was thinking the exact same thing. Sorry. That's exactly what I was thinking. Sorry. Go on. Sorry.
No. So it's cool.
Do you think his plot should have been the B plot?
Yes. It really should have been the B plot. It should not have been the A plot. Like, I don't know what it was, but his story, it just didn't, it did nothing for me. Like, it literally did nothing.
But Amelia, okay, so when I just have a question. What do you mean? What do you guys mean by A and B plots? Like, what does that look like?
The A plot is the main story in an episode, like, the Rangers going to RAFCON, and RAFCON being destroyed, and then the B plot is the smaller story that supplements it. Well, maybe not. Doesn't even always supplement it, but it supplements, I guess, the half hour, and that was the competition at Buzz Blast.
Okay, so in this one, it would be Javier as the main plot, and then what was the second plot for this?
The B plot would be the turn into different things. The curse thing or the spell.
The curse.
Okay.
That's the B plot of this episode.
Okay, and then
exactly.
So if we were to move the Javier to B plot, what would be our A plot for this story?
Something else. Something else.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Anything else.
Okay.
Anything else.
Something that furthers along the whole RAVCON.
Or something that further along the story in general, or the plot in general. It just felt very stalemate. Like it was almost kind of like it was happening out of sequence in a sense.
It's like I thought they were gonna now I'm not sure where Amelia's story was gonna play into this, but I thought they're gonna have a bigger focus on that in this particular episode. Because of the way that they presented her wish, obviously, right?
Right.
So, I was kind of disappointed that they didn't lead anywhere with her, in the sense that, she didn't get a glimpse of it. I thought they were going to give us something in terms of her wish, instead of it, not quote unquote coming true at all, right? I thought they were going to give us something that was going to give her, a clue or make her investigate further into her parents. But so I was really disappointed that they didn't do that.
And you know what, Lena? I feel the same way. I feel like this episode honestly should have been much further up. I get what they were doing, because it's one of those things where it's we have to follow a sequence where it's because a whole bunch of shit was happening back to back. So everything from episode 11 all the way up till now all followed a certain sequence. They all followed a certain thing. So it was almost kind of like there was no let up. And then now there's this. And it's just I feel like with the events that happened in this one, you could have thrown this episode anywhere. And it just, that's what it felt like. That's exactly what it felt like. It literally felt like you could have thrown this episode anywhere and it wouldn't have messed up anything, because it's just there. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it's just like I said, it just did nothing for me. It did nothing for the plot. It was just kind of one of those episodes where it's just oh, okay, this happened, which I kind of, in a way, kind of don't like, because it's dang, it feels once again, Javi is getting the short end of the stick. And I don't like that, because I like him as a character. I'm he's a great character. So it's I don't want to feel like he's not important. But it just kind of feels like the way they threw him in this episode, it was just well, we got to have something about Javi. Throw him anywhere. Like just just do anything. And that's kind of what it feels like in this episode. And I'm just like, dang, like it just, I don't know. Like, and that's why I said it's not a bad episode because it's not bad. But I don't know, like it just did nothing for me. It did nothing. I was just like, oh, okay, I guess, and that's kind of how I left it. I mean, it had great moments. I definitely enjoyed the wishes. I thought the wishes were cute. Although I will say, one of the things that kind of bugged me, and I had to go back and rewatch it, but one of the things that kind of bugged me was when the wishes started turning everybody into whatever they wished for. One of the things that kind of bugged me was the fact that Izzy ended up turning into that Zord. Ended up turning into the T-Rex Zord. And I'm like, she ain't made no wish to become a T-Rex. You know what I'm saying? Like, how in the hell she became...
I haven't seen this episode in a little bit. What did she wish for?
She didn't.
Well, we didn't hear it at all. She didn't at all.
No, she didn't at all.
She never wished for anything.
She was holding a Javier's like charm, right? And he happened not to have it. So the thing is, like, they're like, wow, the great thing about the wish charm is that it doesn't have to be the person that made the wish.
Right. Like, as long as if you're holding it and the spell, does its thing or whatever, you just turn into whatever you wish for. But because she never wished for anything, she just randomly turned into the T-Rex Zord.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was one of the things that made me go, like, it was just kind of like, I don't like this. Like, that was odd. It was like, okay. And I get why they did it. Obviously, it was for footage reasons, because they needed a reason to use the T-Rex Zord. I just wish it could have been something else. Because once again, it just didn't make sense. Like, if she didn't make a wish, why is she turning into anything?
Exactly.
So that was one of the things that just made me just like have a very like kind of reaction. Like, my eyebrows definitely raised. But other than, like, it has some cute moments too. Like, I will agree too. Javi definitely had a Kira moment, because it was definitely giving true love locked out the door. Yes. I couldn't take it no more. That little performance at the end, it was definitely giving that.
Yeah. Even with the music video, remember? Like,
even with the music video,
everything. Like, even the color scheme, it was very much Kira 4. Like,
it was giving real Kira.
Oh. So
I'm like, okay.
I
feel y'all. I get it. Okay.
Like, it was that song where she goes, looking back. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know the lyrics now. Frick.
Looking back, I don't regret one single thing.
It's funny how, like, you can hear the lyrics, but when you're trying to, like, I was like, wait, what is the lyrics?
Right.
And also, guys, I know I can't sing, so you don't have to come at me. I already know this. I do it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Listen. That is okay. That is okay. But I'm just like, and I mean, like I said, there were things in the episode that just I liked, but there were things that I was just like, anything. Tell me.
It was just like all over the place. I couldn't focus on what was really happening, like, overall.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we already kind of touched base on that, but I just remember thinking, like, okay, so this is happening, but then this is also happening, and then that's also happening. Wait, is one episode still? Oh, okay. So then I'm like trying to like piece together the storyline as to what's really happening, because I guess, like, in my opinion, like, so much popped up, so much was happening. You have this going on, you have that going on, right? That I just thought I was watching like 2 different episodes, and somehow like an hour had gone by, right? But then I realized I hadn't finished the episode at all. and it was just still all over the place. And that was really, for me, aside from the fact that it was definitely a filler episode and certain like storylines should have been left out and, you know, other ones should have been more focused on. Overall, I was very overwhelmed by this episode.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, I still don't know what to think of it because I'm like, what did I even just watch?
That's what it kind of left me saying. Because it just felt very disjointed. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like I'm still right. And I'm still confused on the whole Amelia thing because she was affected, but yet her wish never came true.
Well, technically it did.
Did Queen thing came out?
Wait, do we want to spoil it?
Well, no. I'm just saying technically it did.
I did.
Technically. Yeah. You know, but she doesn't know that. But technically it came true.
But did it like come true in the episode that we were talking about or no?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. It was for a moment.
Oh.
Yep, it came true, but she didn't notice. But it came true. Let's go ahead and rate this thing.
2.5 star for me.
Oh wow.
I'd say 2.5 as well. I don't want to give it a 2 because there was some positives to it.
No, there was. That's what I'm saying, and I'm going to give it a 3 because for me, there was definitely some positives in there. I did enjoy. I definitely enjoyed the fight scenes in it. Like I definitely did enjoy that. And it. I like the jokes in this episode because the jokes were kind of funny. With like Ollie turning into a toy and he talking about he only has 5 points of articulation. I thought that was cute. I'm like
him and him being like one of a kind or whatever.
Yeah, like I thought that was cute. You know, so there were some funny
actually.
things.
That was funny. That was actually funny.
Yeah, like I thought that was funny. So I was like, okay. You know, so the jokes were funny. For me, the action I thought was pretty good. It was just overall for me as a main plot, like it's just the hobby thing was just weak. So that's why I'm like, I'll give it a middle of the road 3, like a nice little 3, because it was just very middle of the road. Like it was soft. Like Hobby's little story was very soft, and that was it. I was kind of like, oh, just kind of left it at that. But yeah. So I'll give it a 3. I'll be gracious.
You are too kind with that 0.5. Too kind.
But no, so okay, next episode then. So obviously we didn't have much to say about that one, y'all, because that one was whatever. But anyway, so episode 17, because we're gonna keep the ball rolling. Episode 17. Ooh, child. Why I'm talking like old girl from 3LW. I'm getting a little tired of your broken promises. Anyway, things unspoken. Izzy is torn following Fern's acceptance to a faraway college. The Rangers try to stop Quickspine and Mucus from stealing Carlos's key. Thoughts about this?
Okay. Definitely a lot better. Good, strong storyline. But again, the whole turning Rangers into an evil villain thing is just so overused. I don't know what they would do differently, but like, see, Izzy being evil just made her more hot. I'm like, girl, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say she was necessarily evil. It was just like she just told a little piece. Well, she wasn't being 100% honest. Like she wasn't lying, but she was just kind of she didn't tell the truth. True. It was like she just kind of kept some things to herself, which obviously she had to for certain reasons. But Like she basically, I kind of, with this particular episode, I couldn't make her out to be, there was no bad guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's what one thing that I loved about this episode is that it's such a beautiful human experience because in this particular situation, there is no bad guy.
You're right.
There's no bad person, you know? Like she really can't say anything because she's a ranger and she's sworn to secrecy. But so she's not trying to lie to anybody or hurt anybody. But also to everybody else who don't know her situation, they're thinking she's lying. So obviously they're going to have a reaction to it. So, I just was like, oh man, like I really like how they're really, how they're really playing this. Like I enjoy this. And you don't really see this in many PR seasons, that especially seasons that they deal with secret identities.
Wait.
Like you don't see that.
Wait, what is the storyline again? Hopefully.
So the storyline for this one, I think you're talking about Bad Vibes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, wait, I might be getting
your head.
Yeah.
This one is when this one is when Izzy ends up not telling Fern that she also was accepted to college, but didn't accept it.
Right. Okay. Yes.
So, like that one, it was kind of like, oh shit. Like, so I understood where she was coming from. And my thing is, I'm like I said before, it was like in many other PR seasons, you don't get that.
No. Okay. I take that back.
I like that.
Like that was actually really good. I did like how she played it actually. I really like too that her parents were a lot more understanding. Like, even though, yeah, she looked like the bad guy towards her parents, but I really like that, like, towards the end, they're like, you know what? Like her father was like, I made this mistake with Javi before. I'm not going to do the same with you. So I really like he took a moment to reflect. Like, yeah, obviously he led with anger first. He led with, like being disappointed and all that stuff. As I guess anyone would really, because that's a normal reaction, right? But I liked how he like took a step back and was like, you know what? I've done this once before. I'm not gonna mess it up again. And at the end of the day, it's your decision. And I love he said that. I love how he was like, you know what? Whatever your reason is, I'm gonna let it be. I know, and I can trust that you can make your own decision. And I like that because I feel like you don't hear that often where a parent tells a child that like, it's okay. You don't have to tell me everything. Most parents expect you to tell them everything, right? So it was really nice that he's like, you know what, I don't even need to know. Like I care enough about you that I do not need to know. And I thought that was really good ending for that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Because he definitely could have handled that very badly.
Very badly. Oh my god. And Fern, like, that moment when she's like, I love her. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, it was the L word for me.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought that scene was the perfect time for Izzy to just tell her that she was the Green Ranger.
I'm glad she didn't.
I mean, she ended up doing it.
No, afterwards, yes, but not at that time. And she didn't really say it.
Oh, whatever. She knows.
We know she knows. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm glad that like, yeah, it was definitely an outward for me too. When she said it, I was like, oh, the last time no. What was the last time we heard I love you? Was it Jen and Scott? Or was it like,
no.
What was the last time we heard it?
Oh, child. When was the last time that we heard that? Because did we even hear that with Tommy and Kimberly?
We did. Yeah, we did.
We did?
We did.
Oh, child, maybe we did. Like, honestly, this is the first. I was about to say this was the first time I heard it on the show at all.
I thought I
Because,
heard
like,
from Jen and Scott. No?
Wes and Jen said it.
Yeah, Wes
they
and Jen.
did.
Sorry. Why did I say Jen and Scott? Oh my God. I'm so embarrassing. Jen Scott. Duh. No, that's what I'm saying. Wes and, yeah, Jen and Wes did say it.
Yeah, at the end. At the
Yeah,
very
at
end.
the end. At the very, very end. That's why I remember them for sure.
Oh yeah, they did.
They did.
They did. I remember.
Yeah, because Little Old Me wrote a fan fiction, and I definitely wrote those lines in.
They did.
That's
They
how I
did. They
remember. Yeah,
did.
so I know they did for sure. That's why I don't know. I'm so sorry, guys. I said Jen and Scott. Who the fuck is Jen and Scott? Wow.
It's okay.
Wow. Yes, Jen and West. I know for sure they said it.
Like, I genuinely thought, I'm not even gonna hold you. I genuinely thought that, like, it was the first time that we ever heard, like, the L word from anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like, this show just doesn't do that. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, we don't do that, and especially it coming from two ladies. It's like, oh wow, we're going there.
I know. I was like, damn.
So I loved it. I was like, oh wow, okay, Power Rangers, I see you.
Right?
Like, oh shoot. And like the way it was just one of those things, it was just one of those beautiful moments for me where literally she's just like, it was the shock of her realizing, like, holy crap, like, I literally never told her that. And then it just goes straight into, but she doesn't even know, and she might not be safe, and I never told her. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, she is really freaking out, and her girlfriend is standing like right in front of her. I'm like, oh my God.
I know. I was just like, oh, that was such a beautiful scene. I'm like, they could have not captured this any more beautifully. Like, and especially after the last episode too, where I'm like, really? Y'all went from that episode to this? Like, you're making me freaking cry. Like, what the heck? I'm sitting here in my grown woman panties and I'm crying.
I'm telling you. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
I loved
And
it.
that's the thing that really got me about this episode, because it's like, it's a complete just it's just so different from the previous episode, because the previous episode I was just kind of like, this one had me full in. Like, I don't like, it was just it was almost kind of like we stepped out for a second. It was like, oh child, let me go step out to go get something to eat real fast. And then came back the Dino Fury, and it's like, okay, I'm ready. Continue with Dino Fury. And that's kind of what it felt like, unfortunately. And I feel bad for saying it, because it's like, I want the best for Javi, but at the same time, it's like Javi didn't get, like, his episode didn't give me what I needed. But Izzy's episode gave me all the things. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, the action was phenomenal. First of all, it was oh my gosh, I'm not gonna hold you. That the music, the background music while she was fighting, I'm like, what are we watching right now? Because this feels like, I don't know where that music came from. They never used that music before in Dino Fury. But it was like some kind of like pop, like some kind of pop track, but it matched the fighting. And I'm just like, yo, this made the tone of the show like completely shift for me. I don't know if y'all felt that way, but it almost kind of felt like we were watching a completely different show.
Oh my God, completely different. I was telling my sister that this season of Power Rangers is giving me Marvel feels. It's giving me DC feels.
It does.
It's literally giving me the feels that we've been talking about. And I am so here for it. I would literally say almost every single episode, even the last episode, has really made me very emotional. And I don't know, like, I've never been this emotional watching Power Rangers. Like, what the heck?
For real.
What, Brandon, what scene was that?
It was the scene where she's fighting the henchman by herself before she rescues when she rescues Fern. Okay. Like the background music for that scene is like a pop kind of feel. It's very fast paced, but it feels very popish. And I'm like, yo, like this is completely new. Like this is a completely different BGM track. Like I don't know whether they were trying to like save it just for Izzy or what. I don't know, but it worked. It worked specifically for that scene. And I'm like, yo, this is fire. So I'm like, I don't know whether they're gonna use that for Cosmic Fury or kind of use that feel for Cosmic Fury, but they most certainly should because it just made it feel so different. I'm like, this is new. This is definitely new, and it feels like it gels with what's current. You know, like it feels like an action show that you would see on TV right now. Like that's extremely current. Because Power Rangers has that thing of like always kind of feeling like they always want to try to keep it adjacent, like 90s adjacent.
Like it's a formula that they follow, that they've been following for a while. I just listened to it. That did sound really different. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's extremely different and it fit the scene so well. And I'm like, yo, like this is fire. So I enjoyed that, just that by itself. Like that whole entire moment from the time she's like with Mucus to when she's fighting the henchman to save her girlfriend and her dad to the scene where she actually does save her girlfriend and her dad and they have that moment. Like that whole block, I'm like, this just felt, it was so good, honestly. That scene was so good that it felt out of place in the actual episode. For me. Like it was just that good. Like it was so good that everything around the episode, except for the ending, because we're gonna talk about the ending in a bit. But except for the ending, everything around that episode, everything around that block just did not feel like it was on the same level. Because it was just like for me, it was just like almost kind of like stepping out from a different show. Almost. Like it was just that good. I was like, wow, like this is Power Rangers, like wow, like y'all really stepping it up. So I don't know. Like when I be seeing people talk about some Dino Fury, I'm like, y'all not watching the same show I'm watching. I don't know whether y'all are just sitting here like, y'all just sitting here looking like Simon Cowell, looking at y'all TV screens with y'all arms crossed with the stink face. I don't know. Like, I don't know what you're expecting. But to me, this is like primetime TV level. Like, and just I don't know, Will, I don't know if you've seen this conversation, but I saw this conversation on Twitter. I want to say it was Willie Coe was writing, basically he basically wrote a tweet basically saying like how Power Rangers Dino Fury, even though it has its stints of like epic moments, they didn't really like the earlier seasons or like the even the Disney era, that because I think it was specifically the Disney era that he was referring to. He was saying the action in the Disney era, even though these are the same people, the action in the Disney era is like miles ahead of what we have right now. And I'm like, this is one of those moments that he was referring to, I feel, that he was referring to when he's like, Dino Fury has its moments where the action is like really intense and really good. This is that moment. Because anything else in this episode just really, like the rest of the action was just kind of like, oh, okay.
I really like the action in the the scene with the I forgot, it's quick something. Quick
Quick
quick and
spine,
quick
quick
spine.
spine. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually really like that. Um because of him being able to like be fast like the Flash, and then the action from the Rangers. Like I really like the whole fight scene, doing the quicksand to stop him.
Oh yeah, but that's from Sentai. But like the American footage, I thought
Okay.
was different. It was different. Like this time around, I feel like because normally, especially with this show in general, um, they have their moments where they just kind of keep it real, like kind of like keep it steady. And then they have their moments where they just go ball to the wall, like just wild, and just start doing like a whole bunch of like crazy stunts. And we normally would get that all the time in almost every episode in like a Disney era, where they would just like give us just all these crazy feats and just like, do all these like wild moves and stuff. But I just feel like when the show was brought back, it just kind of, I feel like Power Rangers started following a formula that TV shows do too. Because I don't know whether you noticed, Will, but and you too, Lena, but like for me, I'm gonna use an example, the CW.
Mhm.
When it comes down to certain shows, and I say you will because I know you watch CW just as much as I do, but with certain shows like Arrow, for example, Arrow's fight choreography was fire.
Mhm.
Like, especially the first couple of seasons. Like,
Yeah,
he was
very
like
good.
really giving you the martial arts. Like he was really doing like a lot of like crazy stunts and just doing like a lot of crazy shit. Fast forward to a show like Batwoman, where it just feels very slow. And the fighting just feels very, not even like a rhythmic dance, just very 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it just feels very slow. Like there's no intention behind it. There's no intensity. And even some of the Marvel movies now, like even the fight choreography in that, like there will never be another Winter Soldier. Like the Winter Soldier, that movie, the fight choreography in Winter Soldier is like one of the best, like some of the best fight choreography in all the Marvel movies, period, hands down. But you look at a more of a newer Marvel show, it feels very slow. Like even when Daredevil popped up in She-Hulk, it just felt like he didn't have that same intensity that he did when he was on Netflix.
I agree with
It
that.
was just really different. Yeah, like I think it's just an industry wide thing where just now all of a sudden, like the fight choreography in TV shows now just aren't intense anymore. They're just really slow and just very uneventful. So to see like this stuff with Izzy fighting the henchmen, the other Rangers doing their thing and all that stuff. And it just, I'm like, y'all are doing a great job with the action. Like it's hitting for me. But I just wanted to get that out because that was something that really just like really stuck with me in this
Mhm.
episode. And that was one of the more, I guess, one of the more like better, not better, but one of the best things that stuck out for me in this episode. Anybody has anything else that they noticed or something that stuck out for them?
Something that stuck out for me. I think it was Fern. I felt like she was kind of dramatic in breaking up with Izzy because Izzy didn't. Okay, so Izzy not telling her that she got into the same school as her. I can see like that being more so like kind of weirded out situation. Like, why wouldn't you tell me that? That's weird. But to just break up with her on the spot over that, I thought that was kind of or that was like a bit much?
I don't think so. I don't think
Like I
so.
think there could have been a conversation. I mean, even though she was saying like she couldn't tell her, but like cool off, take a moment to process. Don't just break up with her.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that it was oh like she was overdoing it. I will say we've all been teenagers, and I know for me, I've broken up with mugs for less when I was a teenager. Like, listen, if you ain't met me by the lockers at third period, I'm breaking up with you. Like, I was petty as a teenager. Like, no. Um, but also too, I will say I think that the reason why she overreacted that way, is because like for her, that was something big. Like this was something that they've been talking about and they've been planning all this time. And she never told her that she wasn't gonna go. And B, you didn't tell her at all. Like you had her, she had her thinking the whole entire time, like, oh, you were coming, like you were going. Then I find out that you didn't, that you're not going, and then you can't even tell me why. Like, yeah, I would feel a way too if I was her as a teenager in that instance. I would feel the way too. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like I would be like, now I don't know if I would break up with her, but because then again, I don't know. We're not in that relation. I'm not in that relationship, so I can't say, oh, I wouldn't break up with her. But depending on what's happening behind that we don't see, they might be like in that part of their relationship where they are extremely close and they do want to, spend, their lives together for a while. And they are making plans like that. That's a huge plan. And for you not to tell you not to, follow up on your end of the deal, and not only not don't follow me up on it, but don't even tell me that you're not doing it, I would feel away. I would most certainly feel away.
Well, not even just that, but our teenage self is so emotional. Like,
right.
So emotional. I would even say in our 20s, we're still emotional. I don't think now that we're in our 30s, I can honestly say that people are like, oh, in your 20s, you're such an adult. No, you don't feel like you're an adult in your 20s. At least I sure didn't. I can definitely say for myself, and I'm sure if you guys have, you guys can step in if you guys feel the same way. I think when I hit my 30s is when I genuinely started to feel like, holy shit, I'm an actual adult now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a decade of learning.
Yeah, like, I felt like my 20s were definitely, like, figuring out who I was, like, who I really, like, who I genuinely am today. Like, what makes me happy? What do I want? Like, what does that life long term looks like, And like, it's crazy to think that when we were kids, we thought that by 30 we would have our lives together. And in a way,
by 25.
Well, yeah, 25. Yeah, by 25 we have our lives. But like,
oh my God.
But like, you know what? To be fair, towards 25, we were slowly like honing down on who we were becoming, like. But anyways, going back to the main point is that when you're a teenager, like your emotionals are wild. So I think for me, I probably would have broken up with her and be like, you know what, like you didn't. I don't know. It's hard to say, but however, I am glad that the way that they played it out, the way they handled that situation, was a lot calmer than we would have handled it. Like a lot calmer. We would have broken some windows. We would have broken somebody's car. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm just, like, You can't be like telling me, that you got in this whole time, you never told me, and now you're telling me you're changing your whole entire plan, like, and then you're telling me you're a whole ass Power Ranger? Like, what the fuck?
Now, the Power Ranger bit, I probably would have been like, okay, I'll accept that.
Like, no, I think I would have been angry at first, in the sense that, like, wait, you're telling me you're a Power Ranger and you never told me this? What the fuck?
Yeah, I might have that reaction at first. Like, oh, well, so you lying? So you didn't even tell me that you're a Power Ranger?
Right, exactly. So it's like, so now it's like, how am I supposed to know? Because like, if you have Ranger duties and you run off, how am I supposed to know that you're not running off to cheat on me or you're running off to actually save the world? Like, I would never actually know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, that's a whole insecurity in itself. And then what if you say someone prettier than me? What if you say somebody that's like, I don't know, like we see Spider-Man, he met his old girlfriend, kissing her upside down. I'm just saying. Even though we know that, like, he had eyes for her anyways, but she didn't know that.
She really didn't. She really had no idea.
I'm just saying. So bottom line is, all I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, like, that now brings in a whole set of insecurities.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I agree. I have to agree.
Like, I don't know. Now I was gonna start questioning the fact that, when were you really, like, all those times you stuck with, were you really saving the world? Or were you out there doing things that you shouldn't be? I'm just saying. And teenage me, for sure, would be in a whole world of, like, questioning everything. And then it'll come down to the fact that I don't know if I can trust you.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds bad, but that's the truth. Because you being a hero doesn't necessarily explain everything. I mean, we've seen The Boys. They aren't true heroes.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, Fern, you did way better than we would have done at our teenage self. So kudos to you.
No, for real. I definitely am going to agree with that. Because me as a teenager, it just wouldn't have, like, I wouldn't have handled that well. I would have probably been like, girl, listen, okay, yeah, you are a Ranger. Okay, fine. I will let that slide. Mm-hmm. However, I'm still mad.
Exactly. Yep. I'm still mad.
I am still mad with you. So, but no, like, she handled it really well. I think in the very end. Yeah. And like, you could even tell, like, and what I loved about the argument at the end, honestly, for me, what I loved about that argument is the fact that she did not let up. Like, she held her ground. It was very much like, no, why didn't you tell me? Like, what is going on? What changed? Like, it was very, like, she was still giving it to her. Like, what are you doing? Like, why? Why can't you tell me what's going on? Like, we talked about this. We've decided that we're going to do this. What changed? Why can't you tell me what's going on? Like, I'm like, yes, because that's a real conversation.
That is real.
That is a real conversation. And I'm like, any one of us, anybody in real life would be feeling or be saying those exact things because we want answers. And that's one thing that I always felt like when it came to this show. A lot of times, what would always end up happening is they'd formulate the conversation to at least make it look like the Rangers are coming out on top, as if they're these fantastic model citizens, especially in Mighty Morphin. It's almost kind of like they never, ever, 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 ever did anything wrong or said anything wrong. They always knew the right things to say, and it's very unrealistic, especially when it comes to teenagers. It's very unrealistic.
Oh,
like, you're going to mess up. You're going to say stuff wrong, and that's one thing that I'm gonna get on my soapbox. That's one reason why I love Zeo so much, because Zeo turned them into real, actual people. Because Rocky stayed, getting walked all over, and I loved it. But it's just one of those things where it's like, we want to see real, actual conversations and not have these people be cookie cutter characters where they're so perfect. They never have anything going on that they're in the wrong about. And it's like in this instance, literally, like they're having a legit real conversation about their relationship. And that was one of the most beautiful things about this episode. Damn, I feel like I'm getting emotional. But it's just one of the most beautiful things that I felt honestly, one of the most beautiful things I've ever felt in this show, period. Because their relationship with each other, for it being an LGBTQIA plus relationship, it is probably one of the most realistic relationships that we've ever had in this TV show. And I know y'all gonna probably rip me to shreds because y'all gonna be like, well, what about Tommy and Kimberly? What about Wes and Jen? And
they weren't really trying to write for those.
They weren't
at all.
And they weren't. And the thing is, I know fans are gonna go up for especially Tommy and Kimberly because it's giving like, oh, they were the first. Oh, because we seen them smooch and we seen Tommy pick Kimberly up and swing her around and be like, oh my god, I love you. Oh,
no, they didn't actually say I love you, remember? At least we don't know.
Well, you know what I mean. But what I'm saying is like that's the first thing that people are gonna resonate with. Because it's like, oh, well, how are you gonna say that that the two queer girls relationship is better than the OGs? How can you say that? And it's like easily because theirs felt authentic. Theirs felt like theirs felt genuine. With Tommy and Kimberly, I always felt like those two felt very contrived. Like they felt very much like if we weren't Rangers, we would not be together. Period. If they weren't Rangers, they would not be together. The only reason why they were together was literally because they were Rangers. And I know y'all gonna be like, well, no, because Kimberly met him before she found out he was a Ranger. Nah, whatever. I still say that honestly, I personally do not think that even if they were to be together, and let's say y'all do lead with that, well, they got together and whatever. She didn't know that he was going to be a Ranger. Blah 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 blah. I'm telling you right now, Tommy would have done something to piss Kimberly off, or Kimberly would have done something to piss Tommy off. But because they were both Rangers, because you can't tell me you would have dated Kimberly in Mighty Morphin season 1. That was the most aggravating character. She was so aggravating in season 1. And Tommy was constantly forgetful. Like, constantly forgetful. He was on Calvin level of forgetful in season 1. Like, it was bad. So they would have definitely done things to piss each other off. But because they were Rangers, they constantly had to work with each other. And then for the simple fact that he was constantly losing his powers and blah, 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 which made her obviously care for him even more because now she cares for his well-being and his health. So that drew them closer together. But here we are, we have two women who literally were together because they had a commonality, each other. There was no Power Rangers involved. There was no secret identity, none of that. It was just them and how they cared about each other in their own civilian lives. That is a genuine, real relationship. And just the way that they handled it was just, to me, like the way this show handled their relationship. I can't. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. Like, I have literally, like, I can't say that I can't say anything bad about this at all. This is probably one of the best episodes in this entire season. Like, I just loved it. I loved it. Like, if anybody doesn't have anything else that they want to add in this episode, I'm giving it a 5. I'm rating it. I'm giving it a 5.
5.
Will, you got anything you want to add?
Damn.
I mean, you can go ahead and say what you want to say, but like, I'm just rating it because yeah.
I appreciated them giving so much time and development to this relationship, which, in turn the characters themselves got that, the two people involved in it. I'm I didn't think it was a flawless episode. I would give it probably a 4.
What did you think? What made you say that you didn't think it was a flawless episode? What made you think that?
It was still like, for me personally, I felt like the communication could have been better between the two, and I feel like oh my god, why am I calling her Zoe? That is not her name. Izzy, sorry. I felt like she could have she could have come up with a better excuse or something to make Fern feel better, but that wouldn't have worked for the drama that they were giving us this episode. But
I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know.
don't
I
know,
felt like
Will.
that could have been handled better.
I don't think so because we've learned that Izzy can't think well on her feet. As fast as she is physically, she can't think well on her feet in the moment. This is a character flaw, a major character flaw for her, and that is actually consistent because we've seen this happen with her. What was that? Season 1 with the whole thing with the when Ollie tried to dig in her ass about her test scores with that whatever that mechanic class or um what is it technology class or whatever, like you could tell like she's not a good liar and she can't think well on her feet. That is a major character flaw for her, and it definitely popped up again in this episode because she couldn't lie her way out of that to save her life. She couldn't make nothing up. So I think honestly, I think it worked perfectly. Like I don't know, like, and I'm not saying it to, obviously not to, disagree with you or whatever, but I just feel like I don't know if they could have done I don't know if they could have done anything else differently because they already set up her character so much already. And it just felt very on par with her character of who she already is, to where it's just like, oh, well, of course she was gonna fuck that up. Like we've seen her do this already. Like we know this is a part of her character. She's gonna fuck this up some kind of way. And she did. But she found a way to like the only alternative to make this work and not lie and make it worse was for her to actually tell her that she's a ranger. That was the only thing that she could do at that point. I mean, she could have lied, but obviously this is like episode what, 16, 17? Like they're not we can't drag this shit out. A. B, like we can't drag this out. And B, it's like also she was put in such a position to where she didn't have a choice. It was like, okay, you lie to her anymore, you're gonna risk losing her for good. You might as well just go ahead and tell the truth. The only thing that I can honestly say that I will say that I will agree with you with is the actual conversation. I do think that perhaps maybe some of the things could have been told differently. The conversation could have been a little bit different. But overall, like the trajectory of what was done, I saw nothing wrong with it, me personally. But I do see where you're coming from though, because some of the stuff was like, okay, you kind of wilding a little bit, but like overall, like I did like it, but okay, it did not mesh with you.
And one last thing, uh, I sent it to you guys. The part where what was it, Izzy, Fern, and Warden Garcia were being attacked by the henchmen, and then he uh he ran in front of, I believe, in front of Izzy to protect her, and then he got just smacked out the way. It was either by the sports beast or one of the henchmen. That looks so funny.
Him flying in the air.
Yeah.
No, like that scene, honestly, like I just love the fact that like that whatever that was, I can't remember exactly what hit him, but I just love that it hit him so hard that it made him second guess like how he talked to her previously in the scene. Just like, you know what? Mm-hmm. Because you fixing my leg, I guess I'm gonna talk to you like a person. So yeah, I apologize. These bad guys just knocked some sense into me. I apologize for that. So yeah, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said what I said to you. But yeah, listen. This episode I thought was just I loved it. I loved it. No issues for me. This is such a good episode. But according to Will, because he don't like lesbians.
Wow. I mean, I'm just saying, kidding.
kidding. He did not say that, y'all. He didn't say that. But anywho, and plus they did not say what she is. So let's put some respect on Izzy's sexuality because they did not say what she is. But anywho, so yeah, like so what do you guys think, right? Like, do you think that, are you gonna side with Will and his lesser number? Or are you gonna side with me and Lena and give it a 5? Like what do y'all think? Like tell us what you think in the comments. Like, tell us what you think. And also too, before we go, so I just wanted to bring up just really fast. So earlier in the week, I put a picture in the chat of the newest, I guess, quote unquote Sentai from Giga. If you all are not familiar with Giga is I guess an adult film studio in Japan that basically deals with, like, they have their own little, show that they have that they started producing. They had Waku Saber. That was their first one that they had. Well, it wasn't the first one, but it was the first mainstream one that they did that was actually running like an actual Sentai, like an actual show. And then they had the porn movie, the adult film movie, right after it. Like that was like the final episode in a sense. So Waku Saber is done. Now they have a brand new one named Zhu Kaiser. Actually, the entire show is actually called Kaiju Sentai Zhu Kaiser. So, what do you guys think? Because I definitely posted that picture in the chat, but I'll post it again. Like, what do y'all think?
I agree with you. I didn't like the helmets, but I like the suits.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna hold you. Those suits are fire. Like, I really, really, really like those suits. I was like, wow, like the helmets suck. Like, the helmets are ugly, but the suits themselves are kind of cool. Right, Will, what do you think?
Yeah. Looking at it, it reminds me of it reminded me a little bit of Mystic Force without the keeps. But yeah, I think that they're cool looking for sure. Like they look like real. I mean, I said this for the last one we talked about. Like those suits look really good. It looks like something that could actually be like a real Sentai.
Like I just wish that right afterwards they didn't that they didn't do like the little freaky stuff after. It's just like, what are we doing? Like, why are we doing this? But no, like, it's like those suits are so freaking cool. Like, actually, I like these a lot more than Waku Saber. I actually like these a lot more. These are the really, really cool. So I fucks with them. I really do. I fucks with these suits. And it's funny because a lot of people on Twitter has been going around basically saying like, yeah, so these suits look a lot better than Dino Fury, than Cosmic Furies. And I'm like, listen, Linda. We have not seen these are not drawing or digital renderings, okay? These are actual suits, like physically, that we see people moving in. So, you know, I have to hold my judgment of the Cosmic Fury suits until we actually see these hoes moving. Or we see them like standing still in physical form. You know what I'm saying? Like, until we get that, like, I'm gonna reserve my judgment, because who knows? Like, the pictures of them might not be that great, but the actual physical versions of them might be like, oh shit, these are fire. So, you know what? I'm not saying anything yet until we see. But I just wanted to bring that up really fast because I just really, really was like, oh my God, like these are amazing. I have to bring these on the show. But y'all tell us what you think. Like, do y'all like them or whatever? Like, let us know. Let us know in the chat. Let us know on the actual episode, like in the comment section, all that good stuff. And we're gonna go ahead and let y'all go because I have to go myself. But before we go, once again, I just want to let you guys know that we once again thank you so much for listening. We thank you all for being here. If you have not told anyone about Tribunal of the Grid, do that. Tell everybody. Tell your friends. Tell whomever, because we're trying to grow this thing. So pimp us out, like, you know, like we are the whores here. Pimp us out, like.
Oh wow.
Share us around, okay? Like, pass us around. Do that. Thank you. But no, for real, don't do that, because that's disgusting. But anyway, without further ado, my name is Brandon.
My name is Lena.
And my name is Will.
And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.